coming up in July.
I
So
know.
That's your opportunity. I think you need to come out, Saraphine.
And bug you guys.
Mhm.
Go lurk about
Mhm.
Rhode Island.
We got to do some lurking.
yes, we can show you where Mercy Brown is buried. And some of these cemeteries are haunted. They do have a lot of paranormal activity. Now, again, it's not because the dead there are restless. I believe it's because people, because of some of the things that have gone on, say like vampire exhumations, people come around and they hold rituals. They call upon these spirits, and unfortunately, sometimes entails vandalism too. A lot of negative activity. Satanic cults come in, and some people like to topple over gravestones, like Bathsheba Sherman.
Yeah, awful, awful,
I'm going to
awful.
punch the witch and break her gravestone.
Yeah.
You
That's
know
not
that.
Elder Baloo is a favorite of mine in
Oh, yeah.
Cumberland, Rhode Island.
Yes.
Elder Baloo is a great cemetery. I at least feel is quite haunted.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. That is just walking there, and you can feel that. You can feel the energy there. Yeah, Elder Blue is it's a great place, and because of the historic value too. Um, Elder Blue. There's Precious Blood Cemetery.
Yeah, Precious Blood is beautiful, and there's some very interesting mausoleums toward the back of it that
Yes.
make you feel like you're in like a French village or something.
Oh yes, yeah, it is. The sculptures, the statuary. Oh, it's just beautiful.
Sure,
And
they're set up like storefronts or something.
oh yeah, there's a saint buried there. You know, um,
Really?
Rose Ferrin. Rose Ferrin. Yeah, she was a stigmatist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know who that is.
Yeah, yep, Rose Ferrin, little Rose Ferrin. She was, and she was responsible for a number of healings while she lived. Although she was very crippled herself, she was, yeah, she was a stigmatist, documented. So
Right.
she's buried there.
Yeah.
And interestingly, Precious Blood Cemetery that borders the Blackstone River.
Oh my God.
And yeah, we had a great flood, big tropical storm, Hurricane Carol, and then Tropical Storm Diane in 54 and 55, respectively. Well, Tropical Storm Diane flooded the banks of the Blackstone River, and Precious Blood Cemetery is on a hill. Guess what happened?
Everything
We had
down.
a lot of boats,
Oh, yeah, a lot of boats. You had
a lot of life rafts out there.
I haven't seen it, but supposedly there's film on microfiche that you can go to the Pawtucket Library and see coffins just floating down the Blackstone River. Oh, it's horrendous. Anybody who witnessed it say one gentleman said it's impossible to describe the horror of that. Just seeing these coffins just broken up and washing down the Blackstone River.
Right.
And
Which they could never possibly get right, which of course creates,
yeah,
you're asking for haunting at that point, are we not?
right. Well, nobody knows exactly who's buried where in the older section because they couldn't possibly identify every single body. So
Right.
they
Of course
just
not.
put in where they fit. So one coffin got stuck in the raceway of the Slater Mill there.
Oh.
Oh,
Cover a lot of the bodies, or is there still stuff that's missing? Do you know?
Some washed out to Narragansett Bay and were never retrieved. So some bodies were never retrieved. And Daryl, there's a true story about a. I'll tell this quickly. As a gentleman having his wife was terminally ill, he started having an affair with his wife's sister. She found out about it, and she got so upset. She said, you marry my sister after I'm dead, I'll come back to haunt you. Well, she did die. She had a terminal illness. She did die, and he wound up marrying her sister. Well, then came the great flood and of Hurricane Diane. Her coffin, this is true, her coffin washed up on his front lawn with the lid
no.
open. With the lid open.
Wow.
And
There are no coincidences.
Very,
There are none.
very literal sense. She did come back to haunt him, so I guess she got the last laugh.
Yeah, that's
That's
synchronicity.
the reason for
right there.
everything.
Oh yeah.
Seriously.
By the way, dude, I know
Mhm.
that stuff was not okay. How dare you, sister dear? Ew. I wouldn't want my sister's leftovers. That's gross.
Well, want him or not, she came back.
What kind of loyalty is that? Is there just not that many men in Rhode Island, or what?
Well, we got all types here. Rhode Island is very, very diversified. For the smallest state, we have the most diversified cultures in the country, in Providence. And so it's always been different. Always. Rhode Island was the last to, it was the first to secede from British rule, but was the last to ratify the Constitution. So we've always been kind of on the outside looking in.
Rebel.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And there was Roger Williams, of course, who founded Rhode Island. He was kicked out of Massachusetts for his terrible, terrible beliefs that Native Americans are actually human beings with souls, and that women must have souls too. Women are equal to men. The terrible, terrible beliefs he had.
I have a soul? Wow.
Crazy.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
No, they all have souls except for my exes.
Oh my gosh.
I'm kidding.
Not.
There you go.
Yep. So as I mentioned, Slater Mill is still there, and it's open for tours in the daytime. And of course, my brother runs the paranormal tours there. He runs the paranormal aspects of the mill, and he didn't get it haunted, but he is, as long as it's got spirit activity, he said, "Come on in and experience it." So he started the paranormal program there at Slater Mill, and there's been a lot of experiences there.
A lot of fun. I've been on that tour.
Mm-hmm.
What books do you have out now, and what do you have coming out?
Realities 1, 2, and 3, and I'm also working on a demonology book. It's a handbook on demonology, and that's because I've had so many people, like call me up in the middle of the night. We're in this situation. We need some advice, So this is not the tell-all like everything in theology. This is just a basic handbook. It's going to be explaining. This is my situations. I've been in these situations. This is how I handled it, and this is what I've been successful at. And not everything I've done has been a real success, but I try to do it by faith and by what works. And I made some stupid mistakes when I was starting out. Very stupid mistakes. And going into places, abandoned buildings that I could have fallen through the floor. But I mean, that's how my buddy John Zaffis started out. That's a lot of us, old schoolers, I guess you can call us. We started out like that, and we learned from our mistakes. And we tried to find people to guide us. There was Ed Warren, but other than Ed and Lorraine, there weren't a lot of people out there you could really go to.
Yeah, you guys really started from scratch. I mean, you were the original guys. Which is part of what I love. I love the lore of you guys. I find it incredibly fascinating. So this book is maybe not a handbook per se, but a guide to practitioners. You're out there in the field. Here's some things you might run into.
Right, exactly. And my brother Carl and Lana Brock have co-authored a book as well about demonology. So that's by Carl and Lana, and Shadow Realms, and that's interesting too, where they share a lot of their experiences and their theories as well as to what exactly is going on with especially a demonic haunt and an intense haunt. What is going on? You see, people who have had they have their playful Caspers and they're not having problems. They usually don't contact us. It's usually when somebody's having a great deal of trouble. They're very upset, and that's when they contact us. And usually,
the place is burning down.
Right.
Let's talk to those guys.
Help, yes. Help before it's reduced to cinders. Yes, exactly.
I'm open to that now.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. That is so cool. And it's been great to have you on. This has been a great talk.
Doesn't it go by fast?
It does. It really does.
We need like 2 more hours.
Yes.
I want like a 6-hour show or something. But nobody will want to be on it because they'll be like, yeah, 6 hours, sure. I'm going to talk to you for 6 hours.
I've lectured on demonology for at least 3 hours, and then had to perform some deliverance sessions afterwards. Because there were some people that went out in the field, and this is in Methuen and Mass, and they started getting taken over by a presence that was there, and he had a number of sensitive people. So one's vomiting on one side, one's retching on the other side, and I'm going over one to the other and everything. So that was an active night. So.
Wow, how romantic.
Yes, how romantic. Yes, yeah, it's been a romantic evening.
Ooh, happy Valentine's Day.
Yes, yes. Oh, yes. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. It's one of my favorite holidays. I like all of these holidays, but yeah, Valentine's Day is always special. Very, very.
We can't have enough holidays, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Saint Valentinus, who cured his jailer's daughter of blindness. They became very close, and he prayed over her, and she could see. He prayed over her in the name of Jesus, and she could see. And then he lost his head for trying to convert the Roman emperor. So,
yeah.
Oops.
But he wrote her the first Valentine card and signed it Your Valentinus. So that's the first Valentine.
All good things seem to take a little bit of a sacrifice, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. That is true. Yeah.
Blood involved.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it. And I'd love to have you back and talk about some other things. There's a million stories we could dive into. I know Saraphine and I were just like chomping at the bit. Like, what are we going to ask? We're going to ask a bunch of things we want to ask you. So thank you for being a great sport and dealing with our questions.
It's great being here with you.
To meet
great
you,
being here with you.
We appreciate it. We're at the end of our time, I think. We hope you enjoyed tonight's episode of Hidden World Paranormal Talk Radio. To find out more about us personally, merch, and of course our books in Hidden World, please visit www.cccvbooks.weebly.com. That's www.cccvbooks.weebly.com. You can also catch us on Facebook at facebook.com/cccvbooks. Our show was engineered tonight by the lovely and very talented Kat Hobson. If you'd like to advertise on Hidden World, you can reach Kat at www.wbhm-db.com. That's with the WBHM Digital Broadcasting Network, reachable at www.wbhm-db.com. And lastly, we can't do this if you don't listen, so from both of us, thank you and have a fantastic night.
You get all these crazy people that come and throw this junk on stage, and I thought it was one of these rubber bats. I picked it up and it was a real bat.
Was it alive?
Well, it was till I bit the head of it.